So, yes, Of One Blood premieres in only a few months' time. In fact, as we speak, we're just about to head off to Munich for the start of rehearsals. Premieres on May the 10th in the National Theatre in Munich, and is being co-commissioned, so ostensibly firstly from the Bavarian State Opera, and co-commissioned then by Garsington Opera here in the UK, Santa Fe Opera, where it will happen next year in 2027 in the summer festival there, and also further down the track with the State Opera South Australia in Adelaide. Of One Blood deals with the relationship between Mary Stuart, Mary Queen of Scots, and Elizabeth I, a relationship that was very complicated. They actually never met, but were in fact related. They were rival queens, one a Catholic, one a Protestant. And yeah, briefly, it didn't end well. But what drew me to it was, as with all opera topics that I've ever been fascinated by, either as an opera goer or indeed as a composer of operas, is drama. It felt to me like an incredibly dramatic story, which has made its way to the film screen, cinema screens, but also to the operatic stage in the past. But what was particularly enticing about the way we have approached it is that it is using their own documents. So 90% of Heather's libretto is using their own words from a multitude of sources and letters that they wrote to each other or to others. And so with opera, you're always looking for something that seems worthy of singing about. You're not just sort of telling the story. You're really going for it in a full physical way. And so that seemed to be apt with this particular story, something worth singing about and singing about loudly.
And also their letters, their language, the language from that time is still understandable today, but because it was written, because it's once removed over those centuries, there's a kind of poetry that's in there already that lends itself, I think, also very well to an operatic setting, apart from the fact that history, as you say, has given us an opera on a plate, complete with everything you could expect in every opera of drama. It certainly takes you everywhere.
And it has that sense of abstraction. So, I mean, having come out of setting Shakespeare's Hamlet, where Shakespeare's language, has such fascinating rhythms and a pure, unbelievable poetry, as you're saying, also with Elizabethan letters, Tudor language as well. It sort of somehow lends itself to musical forms and shapes.